From the city that friendliness built, Lebanon, Oregon, welcome to Pivot. My name is Michael Carragon and I am your host. On this podcast, you're going to hear from everyday heroes in our community that have genuine hearts to encourage others by sharing their uncurated stories of redemption and how they have leveraged victories and hardships to impact others. If you crave raw, authentic stories of resiliency, personal transformation, and the strength of community, Pivot is for you. My name is Michael, and I have our very special guest today. This is my friend Rebecca, who is also the CEO and the president of the Lebanon Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, good morning, Michael.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about Pivot. I mean, what this podcast, what you want to do, what is it? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I guess the first motive is, honestly, I'm not just telling you because you're the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce here, but to have sort of a love letter conveyed through the medium of a podcast to the city of Lebanon, the town that friendliness built. Rebecca and I, and so many others, are so thankful about just the sense of community that we have here, the people we get to meet, and just to have this season being here.
Yeah, but so when you say a love letter to Lebanon, I mean, I don't. It's more than that, because otherwise it wouldn't be about Pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot comes from somewhere that isn't just, hey, Lebanon's great, let's talk about Lebanon. Pivot comes from somewhere else. Where does that come from for you?
Yeah, I think the treasure in the love letter or the gift in that is that we're just creating a compassionate space where people can come in, share their stories of hope and redemption, and the realization that these are the people that we live around.
Yeah.
You know, we have so many great people around us, so much around us. We are really, truly fortunate to be here during this time.
But that's born out of your own pivot moments, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen your own transformation in your life.
Yeah.
Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, let me say first, I know this is a shock to you, but I am a man in process.
What?
Yeah, I know. That's going to shock everybody. No.
I don't even know what to do with that.
I would call myself, first of all, a grace addict because I've been given a lot of grace and I like it. And people have been way too kind to me, despite myself. But anyway, that comes out of, I think, being growing up in a lot of brokenness, finding myself in the throngs of addiction at an early age. Just to say making poor choices is an understatement. Finding myself in the wreckage of life. And then starting the path toward recovery and healing. So for me, that path was really messy, and it still is at times, of becoming whole, of healing from trauma and different things and broken relationships. But for me, there was a pivotal time where I had sort of a spiritual awakening, and that really changed my perspective in terms of how much I've been given. Again, one of my favorite statements is that, or sayings from a wise man long ago said, he who is forgiven much, loved much. And I really wanted to live the rest of my life, even though I was like 33 when this kind of journey started, or my redirect. I really wanted to be able to serve people that I could identify with. And those are the people that were the least, the last, the lost, those who are marginalized, those who feel like there's no hope, those who are just beat down and just hurt a lot of other people and need forgiveness. So that's my pivotal thing. And in doing Pivot, besides fostering this art of conversation and having people share their redemptive stories, I really hope, I guess the big word is hope, that people come out. I use that word twice in a sentence, but I want people to be encouraged, inspired, motivated, and challenged, and realize, it's hard. It's hard to get out there and take relational risks, right? I know when I'm in downside, I just want to withdraw.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
So to get out there and get around some people. And you mentioned before in our podcast about just maybe it's a few people. And those people are worth their weight in gold. That's the true richness that people know when you're not doing well. They love you the same the other way. They're just with you. They care about you enough to sort of get in your grill if you're not doing so well and on a bad path, but also the support, and they're with you 10% of the way. So although it's just a podcast as the medium, like I said, my hope is that it would really get people to get out there, get around some people, maybe, a cause that they can rally around together and be able to just shine their light.
So it is more than Lebanon. This is really about you in a way.
I don't like that statement, but
I don't.
like I'm like you. Like
You don't
know,
have to like that statement.
But I hope that whatever I'm able to get away with the help of so many other people to do this, that it just conveys that message of encouragement and hope, and again, the value of relationship and the power of story. Creating. It doesn't have to be a podcast. It could be a coffee. You can sit at a coffee bar somewhere and have a compassionate, safe space where people can just really talk things out, or just sit with somebody that's going through some hard things.
Yes, I watch you do that a lot. I watch you do. I don't mean to make this about me again, but I do watch you. You're so. I want to say overly gracious, like, oh, thank you for this and thank you for that. Your sense of gratitude is just like off the charts. And sometimes I'm just like, shut up, Michael, because I'm not good at receiving that either. But I too, I need a ton of grace in my life, and if you realize you need that grace, you realize how much you don't get that unless you give it.
Yeah, one of the things. I think we're both like-minded in that way. I appreciate you
Except
saying
for you're
that.
a lot more grateful. I'm not grateful for her.
I think of again that I think about and it seems like it's an ongoing sort of realization about, wow, I don't deserve anything, And again, I don't want to live in the past and I'm really sorry for the things I've done, the people I've hurt, which has been a lot. But at the same time, I'm like, man, like. Gift, like being able to have these relationships, being able to have a place to live, to be able to work. Yeah. I know that sometimes I can take that for granted. So for me, the gratitude list is a real big part of my healing, because on those days where being definitely an emotionally wreck at a time kind of guy, and like once I start going down that list, we talked about affirmations in the previous, that being able to just say, wow, God, there's so much that I can be thankful for. I'm so thankful for the people in my life. I'm so thankful for the people that teach me, that live totally different than me, that look a lot different than me. And I'm not alone,
Yeah.
I once had a mentor guy. He was an ex-biker guy back east. And this guy, I totally get what he's saying now, like 20 years after he told me this, but he said, his first thing in the morning that he would say was thank you. He got another day, right? And the last thing he would say every night was his prayer was, forgive me. And that's the way I totally relate to life in that way, because, some days 1 step forward, 3 steps back is the thing, but being able to be grateful and be around people, being able to have people to talk to, and, and just friends that from all over in different stages of life.
Friends like me who keep you in your place.
Yeah.
Right.
I told you, I thought you were a New Yorker.
Because I'm not very nice. I'm not a nice lady.
You are, but if you just want, you want to believe that, and but that's not true.
Anyway, but you connect with people that way. Is that aggressive? Is this passive aggressive?
My mom does.
Oh my gosh, was that traumatic?
No. You are a New Yorker.
Yeah. So yeah, great. Oh, the bear stood around with his foot on the ground. Bear stood around with his foot on the ground. Bear stood around with his foot on the ground. The bear stood around with his foot on the ground. Same song, second verse. Could get better, but it's gonna get worse. Oh, the bear stood around with his foot on the ground. Bear stood around with his foot on the ground. Bear stood around with his foot on the ground. Bear stood around with his foot on the ground.
Thank you for tuning into Pivot. Hope it left you inspired, motivated, and reminded that redemption is always within reach, no matter how far you've spun out when life happens.